Alicia Christian Navarro was born on the 20th of September 2004 and was one of 3 children. She resided in Glendale, Arizona, with her mother and stepfather, and was described as being a very sweet girl with outstanding intelligence. Alicia's passions included playing video games and chatting to her friends online. She was very computer savvy and even knew some coding. In a school project created weeks before she vanished, Alicia described herself as nervous, odd, quiet, weird and nerdy, but expressed her love for reading and animals. She thrived in her schoolwork, however, she struggled to make friends. At age 12, Alicia was diagnosed with high-functioning autism after experiencing developmental delays and social difficulties, with her autism making it very difficult for her to forge friendships. Rather than developing relationships in real life, the teen rather interacted with people over the internet. Alicia's social anxiety deeply affected her day-to-day life, and conversing with people online was much easier for her. On September 13th, 2019, Alicia's anxiety was getting the better of her, and after speaking to her mother, Jessica Nunez, she was allowed to stay home from school that day. Alicia allegedly had relationships with 2 boys from her school and had bad breakups with them, which may have elevated her anxiety levels, though these reports are unconfirmed. According to one source, Alicia spent most of that day in her bedroom, though did venture out with her mother to a chocolate factory where the teen appeared perfectly happy. But 2 days later, Alicia disappeared. At approximately 1 a.m. on September 15th, 2019, just 5 days before turning 15 years old, young Alicia stepped out of her bedroom and walked downstairs, where she fetched a glass of water before speaking to her mother, who had been waiting for her husband, Alicia's stepfather, to return from work that night. Alicia asked Jessica why she was still awake, and tried to convince her mother to retire for the night, but at the time, Jessica didn't think much of this. Alicia returned to bed shortly afterwards, leaving Jessica to fall asleep alongside her 2 other children in their bedroom, with her husband falling asleep on the couch when he returned home. The next morning at approximately 7 a.m, Jessica awoke and got breakfast ready for her children, only to find the back door of the family home slightly open. She initially believed that her husband had accidentally left it open, however, upon questioning him, he stated that he hadn't been out in the backyard. It was at this point that Jessica became concerned and went to check on Alicia. However, she wasn't in her bedroom, nor was she anywhere in the house. There was no sign of the schoolgirl outside the residence either. However, Alicia's footprints were found in the backyard, and some chairs had been oddly stacked up against the brick wall. It appeared that Alicia had climbed over the inner wall and the outer wall of the property using the chairs piled up against the bricks, before she vanished into the dark, likely sometime between 3:26 a.m. when the internet was last used and 7 a.m. when Jessica awoke. Interestingly, Alicia had also left a note behind for her parents, which stated, "I ran away. I'll be back. I swear. I'm sorry. Alicia." After being unable to locate the 14-year-old, Alicia's mother and stepfather contacted the Glendale authorities to report the vulnerable teen as missing. Officers arrived at the residence located near 45th Avenue and Rose Lane shortly afterwards. Upon investigating the 14-year-old's bedroom, it was determined that Alicia had taken her laptop, minus the charger, her phone, some makeup, body spray, which she actually had an allergy to, and a copy of an Iron Man comic, Demon in a Bottle, a comic which was worth $200 and had been bought for Alicia around 5 months prior to her disappearance. Strangely, Jessica never saw her daughter reading this comic book, though Alicia had mentioned wanting to attend Comic-Con. Could Alicia have agreed to meet up with someone at a Comic-Con event, or was the comic book she bought meant to be a gift for someone else? The fact Alicia left her home with her laptop and phone and wrote a note for her mother does make it seem that she left of her own free will, though the reasons as to why remains unknown. It is highly unlikely that she ran away without reason, if she did indeed run away and wasn't lured by an online predator or someone else who had ill intentions. Many, including the Navarro family, feared that Alicia met someone online, gained their trust over time, and perhaps planned to meet up with them in real life, away from the safety of her home. With her autism, according to her mother Jessica, if Alicia did meet with someone, chances were she would not have been able to determine whether they were a threat to her or not. In the past, Jessica had spoken to her daughter about giving out personal information online and the dangers of it, after Alicia conversed with an older man. But whether Alicia truly knew the dangers of the internet is not known. According to a Reddit post on the case, classmates of Alicia's claimed that in the few weeks leading up to her disappearance, the 14-year-old carried a burner phone with her, though what she used it for and how she came to be in possession of the mobile also remains a mystery. A friend also claimed that Alicia had mentioned running away, possibly to California or its surrounding states of Nevada and Oregon, where Comic-Con events were scheduled to take place in the following weeks. But they didn't think that Alicia was being serious and therefore thought nothing of it. Another possibility is that after leaving her home during the early hours, Alicia may have been abducted by a stranger, or following meeting the person she spoke to online and realising they weren't who she expected them to be, she was not allowed to leave for whatever reason. Detectives for the Glendale Police Department looked into all registered sex offenders located within a 1-mile radius of Alicia's home, but unfortunately their efforts provided no leads. A number of sightings were called into police in the following days and weeks following Alicia's vanishing, including a witness who allegedly saw Alicia at around 4 p.m. on the day she disappeared in a park on 39th Avenue, alongside an older, dark-skinned man with heavy tattoos around his neck. Further investigations were conducted by Jessica herself, and she spoke to a number of other witnesses who claimed to have seen her daughter, but unfortunately, these led to dead ends. Alicia's mobile phone has not been switched on since she disappeared over 4 years ago, meaning that, unfortunately, cell data, including the phone's last known location, cannot be traced. Her social media and online activities, including activity held on the video games she played, were analysed by experts. However, nothing out of the ordinary was reported. The FBI are currently assisting with resources and support for the Glendale Police Investigations Unit, with the National Centre for Missing and Exploited Children also offering assistance in the investigation. Unfortunately, very little media has covered Alicia's disappearance, and according to some, police haven't treated this case with much urgency. Some speculate that this is down to racial discrimination, or the fact that Alicia appeared to have run away by choice, therefore less people would be willing to help find her. Both issues presented here are shocking. Regardless of Alicia's background and the choices she may or may not have made, she was 14 years old when she disappeared, still a minor, not to mention vulnerable. Her case should have been treated with the utmost respect and with the same urgency that other missing children cases are given. A press conference was held in early July of 2020 by Alicia's mother and Didi Garcia Blaze, the family's spokeswoman, where they asked for more to be done, as law enforcement and local politicians had remained silent on the issue. Only following this appeal did law enforcement give a press release detailing the events leading up to Alicia's disappearance. Prior to the coronavirus pandemic in 2020, Jessica would hand out hundreds of flyers to passers-by, showing pictures of her lost daughter, spending every minute possible looking for Alicia. During the subsequent COVID lockdown and following a successful GoFundMe campaign to pay for them, Alicia's face was shown in gas stations, as well as electronic and static billboards across Route 101, both northbound and southbound traffic lanes in Glendale and across Arizona, in an effort to locate the missing teen. These have resulted in a number of potential sightings of Alicia, but so far, all have turned up negative. Since her disappearance, Alicia's mother has met with the police officers twice, and she calls them every week for any updates in the case. But even though a number of potential tips and sightings have been called into authorities over the past 4 years, no trace of Alicia has been found. Glendale authorities have kept Jessica constantly updated with any developments. Another press conference was held on the first year anniversary of Alicia's disappearance on September 15th of 2020, where Jessica pleaded to the public for assistance in the hopes to bring attention to her daughter's case. That night, Alicia's family and friends attended a vigil where they prayed for her safe return. Alicia's whereabouts currently remain unknown. At the time of her disappearance, Alicia Navarro was 14 years old. She is described as being of Hispanic origins, with dark brown hair and brown eyes, standing at 4 feet 5 inches tall and weighing 95 pounds, though is described as looking younger than her age due to her small stature. Today, she would be 18 years old. Alicia also has braces on her teeth, a self-harming scar on her right knuckles, and suffers from high-functioning autism and social anxiety, conditions which Alicia is medicated for. She was possibly wearing a white sweater, a whitewash denim overall skirt, and a pair of black and white van-type shoes. When she vanished, she is believed to have left with a silver Apple MacBook Pro and an iPhone. Some important things to note here is that at the time she disappeared, Alicia religiously wore the same white sweatshirt shown in her missing poster, even in scorching weather conditions, and she tended to wear the same pair of shoes. She also had a very strict eating habit where she would only eat McDonald's chicken nuggets. Alicia didn't like to deviate from her usual daily routine, and she was not fond of going out in public, which makes her disappearance all the more bizarre and out of character. She was also prone to emotional meltdowns, again due to her autism. After 4 years, Glendale police are no closer to finding out what happened to Alicia Navarro. Neither herself or any of her belongings have been located. There is currently a $20,000 reward for any information leading to the whereabouts of the now 18-year-old Alicia Navarro. Her family are desperate for answers. Alicia promised to come home, and her family are clinging on to the hope that she will one day fulfill that promise.